Welcome to your first lesson on drum pad. So this is what you're going to use to get started when you're playing drums. We all start on this drum pad. So this is assuming you already have your drum pad all set to go. Again, you can pick it up from the music store, you can order one online, lots of places to get one. So once you get it, you can take it out of the box. Up to you on if you want to keep the box. Some people like to keep it so they can move it back and forth from school and keep it nice and safe in the box. Some people are fine just putting it in their book bag, or they buy a special case to put it in to keep it nice and safe. Up to you on what you want to do. Completely your choice. You just want to make sure to protect it as best you can. Now, in the case, or in the box I should say, when you get your drum pad, you'll get this little kind of yellowish vanilla envelope, about yay big. And inside of it, there's going to be this little key. It looks like a flathead screwdriver, and really, that's all it is. What you'll notice is around the drum pad, there's these screws. And over time, those screws can come loose, and if you damage your drum pad, you can even pull this out and replace it, or you can buy a new one. Either way. But over time, those screws will come loose, and the pad will get really, really soft, and it'll change how it sounds. Use that screwdriver to tighten those screws up. Up to you if you want to keep it. You can also just use a flathead screwdriver. Works exactly the same. The other piece is a drum pad stand. Up to you if you want to use one. If you have a special way at home that you can set it on a chair or a stool and prop it up where it's sitting just above your knees, that's fine too, but I would suggest if you can, get yourself a drum pad stand. Now, how to put it on takes a little bit of practice. You will find underneath it, there's a little screw hole. And what you do is you take the screw hole on the drum pad stand and you screw it right in there. And once it gets started, the hardest part is just getting it going. Once you get it on there and it's started, you can just spin it and it will lock right into place. Now when you set it on the floor, you want to make sure the drum pad is just above your knees. You don't want it too low where your knees are sticking up above your drum pad, but you basically want it where your arms, when they're coming out straight from your body like this, so what you'll notice is my arms come out straight like this, they're just above the drum pad. They're not, like if I'm sitting way too low, it would be really hard. I'd have to lift my wrist up to do something, or if I'm sitting way up too high, I'd have to tilt my wrist down so that I could play properly on the drum pad. You want it where your wrists are just above the drum pad. Now the last part is your drumsticks. To hold your drumsticks, use what I call your pinchers. It's your thumb and your pointer finger. Those are the main two fingers that hold your drumsticks. The rest of your fingers just curl around a little bit. You don't squeeze them all the way down, and you don't leave them sticking straight out, kind of like an English tea drinker that leaves their pinky hanging out. They just curl around a little bit where the sticks can wiggle in your hands. Again, don't grip them so the stick can't wiggle at all. You want to leave a little bit of space so that stick can wiggle. So your fingers just curl around a little bit. Now, where to grip your stick? You don't want to grip it way up high. Very hard to get. I can't play too loud or soft. You'll notice everything kind of sounds exactly the same. If I grip them way too low, it's really hard to control my sticks. I can't do it's just hard to do things and hard to know right where your stick is hitting. So the rule is you want to grip it where there's just a little bit of stick sticking out below your hand. Depending on the size of your hand, it could be a little bit more or a little bit less, but you at least want to keep about an inch or so sticking out below your hand. And then you take your pinchers. Again, don't squeeze them so they're really tight and it's really hard and your fingers turn all sorts of colors and all that kind of stuff. You want to grip them like you're holding a package of toothpaste. So not too tight and not too soft where maybe the sticks will fall out. I want to be able to wiggle those sticks around while still holding them. Then when I get ready to play, you keep your arms kind of out to your side a little bit, and your wrists are pointing straight up to the ceiling. So you'll see my wrists aren't turned where they're pointing that way or that way. My wrists, if I put a penny on top of them, the penny would not fall off. So you'll see how my wrists stay nice and flat. So that's what you want to make sure when you're playing on the drum pad. Now, where you hit on the drum You want to make sure you got all this area on the drum pad. And if I hit off to the side, here's that sound. Now listen to the sound when I hit more towards the middle. Big difference in sound. So you want to make sure you're hitting towards the middle of the drum pad. There are times when you need to use certain sound effects or certain different types of techniques where you might hit on the side, but for right now I want you hitting towards the middle of the drum pad. So now we're going to start by making our first sounds. If you're right-handed, your right hand is probably going to be quite a bit stronger than your left hand. So what will tend to happen, back this up so you can see it a little bit better. You'll notice my right stick sounds a lot louder than my left. Or if you're left-handed, your left stick might sound a lot louder than your right stick. So what you'll want to practice is getting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting it where each time you hit with the stick, no matter which stick you're using, your right or your left, that they sound exactly the same. What you noticed when I was playing is I wasn't moving my whole arm like this, like those big monkey crasher machines that you see. Everything was my wrist. All I'm moving is my wrist. I'm not moving my whole arm from the elbow or even from the shoulder. I'm not moving anything that way. It's going to get really tired really fast too. So everything is from the wrist. You'll watch again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is from my wrist. If you find that you're hitting this little plastic siding on the drum, it might be a little too high for you. You might need to lower it a little bit or raise your seat up if you can't lower it anymore. What you might hear is, you'll hear that little plastic sound. So if you tend to hear that, either make sure your hands aren't falling too low or make sure the drum pad is not too high for you. So to start out by making a sound, you want to do 4 hits with your right hand, 4 hits with your left hand, and try to get them to sound exactly the same. And remember, I'm only playing from my wrist, and I'm holding the sticks between my pinchers, and I'm not gripping way down on them. I'm leaving space so the stick can wiggle around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is your first lesson on drum pad.